So on both sides of the debate, no matter what side you're on, everybody pretty much for the most part, except for some outliers, agree that pretty strong measures need to be taken. Now, the question is how strong those measures should be and for how long. So right now the discussion is 18 months. Are you kidding me? The discussion right now is 18 months of about these measures that we have right here. Really harsh social distancing, restaurants doing only takeouts, no lobbies are open, hospitals are not letting anybody but the patients and their immediate ride or immediate family members, I believe it is, in. Things like that, basically a shelter in place. You can go to work only if you have to, sort of thing. But then again, if you don't have to go to work, congratulations, you're in a lot better position than most Americans. So that's something interesting. But I don't know a single friend of mine, anyways, that say that they don't have to work. They got to pay bills. You got to work. Either that, or we're moving towards a social system that's more like socialism. So it's either work or socialism. I don't know. But there are some arguments now that perhaps a shutdown, a hard shutdown, mind you, of just 5 weeks might be enough, rather than an 18 months of what we're seeing now, which would economically destroy us. 18 months. That would be an economic destruction, the likes of what we haven't seen in our lifetime. So let's read this. A new academic paper argues that a lockdown of several weeks, in fact 4 to 5 weeks they said, could be sufficient to stop the spread of coronavirus, directly challenging the Imperial College London's claim that a widespread shutdown may need to continue for 18 months until a vaccine is available. They basically want to do a medium shutdown, which is what we're seeing right now, for 18 months until a vaccine is ready. The paper says a hard shutdown of 4 to 5 weeks could end the virus. In their study released on Monday, Imperial College issued the stark recommendation causing the U.S. and U.K. governments to begin planning for dramatic and long-term shutdowns. That's the 18-month shutdown that the Imperial College had recommended. However, an academic paper published on Tuesday by the New England Complex Systems Institute argues that Imperial College's model ignores other key interventions that could be deployed after a lockdown ends. In essence, the authors argue that a lockdown of several weeks could be sufficient to stamp out the virus, as long as travel restrictions, widespread testing capabilities, and contact tracing protocols are in place to limit any subsequent outbreaks. Basically, they're saying we could do several weeks of a lockdown, a hard lockdown, then after the lockdown is over, if we go on this sort of, let's call it a probationary period, it's like being let out of jail and you're on probation, and you have free testing, easy testing, available testing everywhere, travel restrictions, and contact tracing protocols are basically the minute someone gets an infection, their test comes out positive, you have the capabilities to supersede things like in the Constitution, and you can isolate them, you can find out who their friends are, you can trace where they've been, use GPS location on their phone to find out where they've been, things like that. Boy, the world that we're in today, I'm telling you what, it is so different now, and it's going to be this way for a while. When everyone is locked down for 2 weeks, if someone develops symptoms, the people with them can be isolated. No one else can become infected. So including these cases and a few random ones, it takes 4 to 5 weeks to stop the outbreak, said the paper's co-author, Yaneer Bar-Yam, in a tweet. Now, a couple things that they are forgetting about on this is a hard lockdown. Okay, first off, human beings, hello, hi, welcome to planet Earth. We're human beings. People are not going to obey a lockdown. Most people will, but there are going to be people who are going to do what we're seeing right now, and purposely to fly in the face of everybody, I guess. I don't know. Make these big underground gatherings and go to these parties and raves. And gee, a couple weeks ago I said if we did lockdowns we were going to see people doing underground raves and parties. Wow, it's amazing. It's like I'm a goddamn fortune teller or something. Listen to me. You'll know what's going to happen in the future. I'm not claiming I'm a fortune teller. Or am I? No, I'm not. See, I knew I was going to say that. China and South Korea showed this is actually how it happens, he continued. Yes, China did a hard lockdown to slam everybody in, and now they're saying that their numbers are very low. Do I believe it? No, not necessarily. I believe they've got more than what they're saying. And also the cost. I mean, they've locked and barricaded people in their homes. There's video of them taking steel bars and nailing it to the wall and nailing a family closed shut in their house. Are people bringing them food? Or people, worried about their health? Are they breathing fresh air? Are they getting stagnant air? Do they have enough water? I mean, what's the deal there? I have a feeling we're going to find out a lot of things later on when people start coming out of lockdown, and things are coming out. Right now, China is absolutely geofencing their citizens. You can tell just if you change your VPN to mimic a Chinese IP address, and then you can get onto Chinese social networks, and things don't feel the same. They don't feel right. They feel forced. Things feel like things are missing, like there's gaps. So when things get off lockdown and people are able to get out there and do what they do and report, then we're going to find some things out. I almost guarantee it. According to their assessment, Imperial College experts believe social contact may well be need to be minimized throughout the population until a vaccine is widely available, up to 18 months from now. That's going to be restaurants operating at 50% capacity if the lobbies even open at all, distancing people 6 feet away from each other, pools definitely being closed, libraries being closed, malls being vacant, downtown being a ghost. Hey, if you want to film a post-apocalyptic movie, this is great. All you got to do is take your camera and go downtown anywhere USA, and it's going to be a ghost town pretty much. We predict that transmission will quickly rebound if interventions are relaxed before a vaccine is available, the Imperial College experts write. They believe if we go into lockdown, release people, then we're spread, lockdown, release people, spread, lockdown, release people, spread. So they're saying a general lockdown. Or we can do a hard lockdown for 5 weeks. Either way we slice it, it's painful. It's painful. You want to go into solitary confinement for 5 weeks and then get out on probation? Or do you want to have level 2 minimum security where you can go outside for 18 months and then have probation? Yeah, those are your choices. Their conclusions that there will be a resurgent outbreaks are wrong, the Nesky authors wrote. After a few weeks of lockdown, almost all infectious people are identified and their contacts are isolated prior to symptoms and cannot infect others. False, man. You're assuming that people are not going to be scared out of their goddamn wits that if they report something, that something drastic is going to happen, and that's going to happen. 1, 2, 3, 4 families, it doesn't matter. A few people are going to be like, fuck this, I'm not going to say that I'm infected because then they're going to come get me, and then there's going to be reports, and blah, blah, blah. Come on now. You're working on the fact that everybody's going to be nice and happy and go lucky, and yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. What do you want me to do? How high do you want me to jump? And that's just not human nature. It's just not. Especially with the youth today. They continue, the outbreak can be stopped completely with no resurgences as in China, where new cases were down to 1 yesterday after excluding imported international travelers that are quarantined. 1 new case. They are saying that they had 1 new case of coronavirus in China. I call absolute bullshit on that. 1 new case in China. No, bullshit. Bullshit. I don't believe it. Wuhan, the central Chinese city where the virus was first detected in late December and which has been under lockdown for weeks, reported just 1 new case for a second straight day Wednesday. Wow! No, I don't believe it. I don't. I think people are scared witless and they're not going to report if they're infected if their life depended on it. That's what I believe. They have seen the stories, and they have seen their neighbors being locked down. They have seen their friends and reports of stories on social media and Weibo about people being disappeared and missing and things like that. They are zipping their freaking lips and waiting it out is what they're doing. The Nesky authors go on to argue that with certain measures in place, such as bans on mass gatherings and travel restrictions, it could be possible to relax a population-wide lockdown without resurgence of the virus. Well, I don't know. What are your thoughts? What are your opinions on anything that I have said here? Do you believe that China is giving us the true numbers? China is being absolutely 100% honest with what they are telling us. That there's not one thing they're hiding. They are only had 1 report yesterday and 1 report today of coronavirus. Or do you believe that we're going to find out other things? 2, What do you believe? Would you like solitary confinement and get out sooner, or would you like level 2 minimum security, but you get out later? That's kind of where we're at right now, it seems. Not very good choices, my friends. Not very good choices. But that's what we got in this world we live on, and we should discuss this. Because after all, no matter what anybody says, at least in the United States, it's our voices that matter the most. Especially when we combine our voices. I love you guys. Let me know what you think, and I will see you guys in the next one. Hard lockdown or soft lockdown? Which one?